Several years ago, a friend got me interested in ghost signs, and especially in the ghost signs that are painted onto often exposed brick, gigantic advertising signs that in their faded versions are everywhere in Cincinnati. And I was especially interested by those that were done by so-called wall dogs, who were called that basically because in their trusses, as they dangled from the sides of buildings, they looked like dogs leashed vertically. When I was wandering downtown a few years ago, I passed a big advertising sign from probably 50 or 60 years ago, 60 or 70 years ago, that I noticed was signed in a discreet way at the bottom left. And I had never seen an advertising sign that was signed that way. And I noted down the name and didn't think about it much anymore. And then I learned a little bit more about wall dogs. And it was really dangerous work, in part because what makes those signs last is that they are heavily leaded paint, which meant that you were dealing with poison all the time. They also required amazing precision and danger in that you were dangling off the side of a building trying to paint very precisely on an uneven surface, something at a gigantic scale. So while I was working on my book, I usually avoided the indoor spaces in Spring Grove, and I didn't realize there was, in fact, a big indoor mausoleum. We're up at the front corner where all the offices are, and I generally steered clear of this part of Spring Grove so as not to get in the way of people actually who had business here or who were mourning loved ones here. But one day I noticed, in the winter, the stained glass here from outside, and I thought, oh, that must be a building. So I asked somebody if he would let me in one day, and I went wandering, and I wandered into this little alcove, and there I saw this name, Holthaus, and it instantly clicked. That's the name of the person who signed that advertising sign. And sure enough, that was Gus Holthaus, who died in 1970. He was a neighbor of mine in Northside. He lived just 2 or 3 blocks away from my house. And so I plunged into this essay about advertising, about sign painting, about the profusion of signs in cities, about the haphazard way that cities get developed and so on. But the center of it is Gus Holthaus.